What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. You guys already know what it is. It's draft season all year long, and today we have a Detroit Lions mock draft here for you guys. Now, typically, I won't do mock drafts on teams that are still in playoff contention or in the playoffs, but the reason why I made this is because the Detroit Lions currently own the number 6 overall pick in the NFL draft via the Los Angeles Rams. So, just a great scenario for a team that's potentially going to be a playoff team this year, trending in the right direction. A lot of optimism around this entire organization as a whole, and they're only going to get better with this top 10 overall pick that they have right now. And if you guys couldn't tell, I simulated this part of the draft, and I literally had to restart recording because I was so in shock that Jalen Carter is still on the board here. Okay, look, if Jalen Carter falls to number 6, you're turning in that card instantly. You're not listening to any trades that anyone has to offer you. You're taking Jalen Carter right here. And this is amazing for the Detroit Lions because I actually have the defensive interior as one of the main needs for this team. And, if you guys are familiar with my YouTube channel, you guys know that I love taking the best player available, when it presents itself, because there are times where you do take players of need if it's very marginal between, the top player and the player of need. But this is a beautiful situation because the best player available on the board is also a need, in my opinion. And Jalen Carter is just an absolute beast. I mean, if you saw the semifinal game yesterday, this guy was in the face of CJ Stroud countless times. You can see that he is able to generate a good amount of pass rush while also being able to be a huge disruptor in the run game. Just a huge body. You know which one is Jalen Carter just strictly off of the size that he has. Just an athletic freak right in the middle of the defense, and is a huge reason why Georgia is able to stop the run so effectively against the majority of teams at the college level. But Jalen Carter is certainly going to be a difference maker. I can't imagine that he'd fall here at number 6, but if teams are picking quarterback before us or teams trade up for a quarterback, I mean, it's possible. We can't rule it out. It is possible. Highly unlikely, but possible. But here, guys, look, if this is real life, we're turning in this card immediately. I'm not even thinking about it. Jalen Carter is going to be our first pick here for the Detroit Lions. Absolutely love the way that this mock draft starts off here. Okay, so taking a look here at the players available. Now, Jordan Addison, certainly intriguing, but I feel like we're at a good spot with our wide receiver group. Really love how Amon-Ra St. Brown has developed over these last few years. I was really high on Jameson Williams. He's obviously working his way back slowly from that ACL injury he suffered in the 2021 National Championship. I like the way that the wide receiver group looks right now, so I'm not going to address that. The offensive line, we know, is one of the better groups in all of the NFL. Cornerback position, that is certainly something we're going to look at, but near the top, Jackson Smith-Njigba is a good one, by the way. But I take a look here. I really want to take a look at the edge rusher group here because they are still relatively high on our board, and this is also a position of need. So again, this is a situation where the best player available is very marginal from another player close to the top of the board that is also a need. So we're definitely going to be taking a look at that position of need right now. So a lot of guys that I still like on this board. This is a very, very deep edge rusher class. If you haven't taken a look at it, we're going to have videos coming in the near future about this position group because there are just so many guys that I think could potentially go in the first round or even high second round picks. These guys all included. Now, whether you guys agree with me on this or not, I'm sorry. This is my mock draft. But I really like Felix Anudike-Uzomah. This guy is constantly beating double teams. I mean, there isn't a ton of disruption from other players on that Kansas State defensive line, so there's a huge emphasis on guarding him. But this guy can beat you with his speed. He can beat you with his physicality. And like I said, the one thing that stands out to me is the fact that he can go through double teams and beat them. That is insane to me. It just shows what kind of motor this guy plays with. I also really like Jared Verse, just not as much, but I think he possesses the physical traits and also the technique that you'd want to see. This is a guy that could potentially go in the late first round, early second round. Isaiah Foskey as well. Something that stands out to me about Isaiah Foskey is the fact that he plays just with a lot of purpose, and he's also a very high motor guy. You'll see him flying around the field, making tackles across the field, sideline to sideline. He's got that kind of coverage, speed to cover the field. So three very intriguing options. I'd be happy with all of these guys, but like I said, if you can get two high motor guys that are going to be physical at the defensive line, which is one thing I really admire about the way that this Detroit Lions roster is built, is that it is very physical. And I think Felix Anudike-Uzomah is a great example of what they want in terms of their defensive linemen. Pair him up with Aiden Hutchinson, they're going to have a really good D-line. It's looking scary now. We're building this through the trenches. We got Jalen Carter on the inside. Let's get Felix Anudike-Uzomah on the outside. Now, Houston, I can't come up with his first name, but Houston on your guys' defensive line is also a linebacker at times. Very good. Very good. I think he's one of the more underrated players in the league right now. He is really developing into something special. So if you feel like he should be getting more snaps, I completely understand that, but I do not want to pass up on the talent that Felix Anudike-Uzomah is. So we have all the positions here. We're here in the second round. We have 3 more picks. We're doing 3 rounds for a mock draft. I am not confident about taking guys in the later rounds, so I just want to keep it at the obviously the more important picks in the first round and in the middle rounds. I'm just being completely honest with you guys here. Okay, what do we want to do here? Still some very intriguing options like Andre Carter. This is great value, I think, for him here, but we just got an edge rusher. Wouldn't see the light of day too much. Very interesting to see our options here. Cornerback is also another position that I wanted to address. Now, I'm just taking a look, right? Edge rusher, there isn't a lot of space for anyone after the picks that we just made. Tackle, there's no need for that at all. The safety position is another one that I think there's a lot of depth at for you guys. Kirby Joseph is playing extremely well. I know when Tracy Walker comes back, he'll also be playing very good, so I'm not concerned about that. Again, more edge. You don't need running back. You're too deep at that position already. I feel like wide receiver, there's a ton of depth too. Look, I'm very intrigued right here with Emmanuel Forbes. Now, could we potentially take a wide receiver here? I want to see the analysis on, what position. Yeah, wide receiver's not on there, and I agree with that just because of how much depth there currently is at the position. And the guy that stood out to me immediately was Emmanuel Forbes. This is definitely someone I want to take a look at here. Gervon Dexter is also another person. I have him ranked as my number 2. I'm sorry, I came up with this list yesterday as I was evaluating these guys, but Gervon Dexter is definitely high up on there in terms of my interior defensive lineman. But I think we're going to go with Emmanuel Forbes here. This is a guy who has, I think, the NCAA record for the most pick sixes in a career. So this guy has a knack for finding the football and finding a way to run with it after he gets it and find his way into the end zone. That's what I like about Emmanuel Forbes. Relatively slender, slim guy, has the length. So again, that might be a little bit of a concern in why he's dropped here into the second round. This might be kind of a reach. There's no one really willing to trade back with us, but I just don't see anyone else that I'd be willing to take. Possibly Cedric Gray. I know that I wanted to take a look at the linebacker spot. We've been rambling on for a while. There's a ton of options for us to go over. Stick with me, guys. We're going to go with Emmanuel Forbes here in the second round. There's not much depth at the cornerback position after Jeff Okudah, just considering how many guys are potentially free agents and leaving next season. So we definitely want to address that position. And here we have the opportunity to take Gervon Dexter, but I really like Aleem McNeil, who was a former mid-round pick out of NC State a couple of drafts ago, so I don't want to mess around with that, especially now that we have Jalen Carter. I really wanted to address the linebacker position, so what we're going to do here is take Cedric Gray out of North Carolina. Alex Anzalone's been all right. Malcolm Rodriguez has been a pleasant surprise. Kalen Barnes, I mean, that's definitely someone that we could get off the field and replace with someone else, so that's definitely an option there, in my opinion. Oh, very interesting here. So Jalen Hyatt's still here. That's definitely a guy that I would consider taking. I think I am going to take him actually right here. I just feel like Jalen Hyatt is too good of a player to be sitting here in the third round and not take. I understand I mentioned time and time again that we have depth at the wide receiver position, but guys, I mean, Jalen Hyatt, this is the best wide receiver in all of college football from the 2022 season. I'm not going to pass up on that. Just too good a value. I mean, this guy literally took over games for Tennessee this year. I really love the way that this draft class went for us. Yeah, I mean, this is probably one of the more fun ones that we got to do. They have 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. That is tremendous for the Detroit Lions. For us to get Jalen Carter here early on, I mean, it shocked me so much I had to restart the intro. Felix Anudike Uzama, again, a guy that I feel plays with the physicality that the Lions look for on the defensive line, and just a very high motor player. Emmanuel Forbes, finding the football, turning it into points. I like that. Cedric Gray is our replacement for like Kalen Barnes potentially here, and then Jalen Hyatt, as I mentioned, just too good of a receiver not to take here in the 3rd round. Let me know how you guys think I did in the comment section below. This is draft season. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys all later. Peace.